So big news, I'm in the car. It's been probably about 4 or 5 weeks since I've driven it. I took the battery out, recharged it, but I had to then put the tyre inflator on it, so I may have killed it already. So handbrake stuck, handbrake might be stuck. Obviously it's covered in crap, which you've seen, and regarding making a video, I thought, is it really that important with all that's going on in the world? But maybe it's more important. We need something to distract ourselves. First, let's see if it starts up. Okay, so right, it's got lots of fuel. What's the oil saying? Oil saying is good. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, so we're working. It made a funny noise, which is I think it's the timing chain guides, which are worn. Let's see what it sounds like. I think it sounds okay. Air conditioning back on. Obviously I need to set the clock, putting the battery back in. One thing to remember, point to note for next time, is the alarm goes off when you hook it back up, and it deafened me and nearly gave me a heart attack. Yeah, and also it has been 1 year and exactly 2 weeks since the car was delivered. So I think it's time to do my 1-year review. I'll post up on Instagram. I don't know if anybody's seen that yet. It's Anchor Gaia on Instagram, and I randomly post not very interesting things. But I'll put up a list of my current spend on some of the forums where I've put it up. It's missing the oil change and the coil pack change, which is like 250 quid on top, which means that I've gone over £8,000 in total over the year. And I've still got all those parts that I haven't fitted. Well, let's drive. So I'm on my way to, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm on my way to the supermarket. It's quite late, so I know it's open till 9. I could get stopped by the police, which would not be ideal, because they'd say, why are you recording? But it's going into reverse. Ooh, the brake is not locked. So yes, so I didn't check any of the fluids when I started it up. I had to inflate 2 of the tyres, which were down at 10 psi. I haven't cleaned anything off the top, and I'll take it easy. Obviously, oil pressure is still good. Oh, the air conditioning sounds funny, so that's fine. I think it might be because it needs gas. So, in fact, you know what? I'm going to leave that off because I don't like the sound, and I prefer to hear the engine. So, let's go. I'm going to have to do a turn here. All the dust is flying off the front and all the leaves and whatnot. So yeah, so the spend, I've gone over, so the previous spend to date was something like 7,900. I'll confirm all of that, it might come up along the bottom. 7,900, so I'll be at something like 8,200. Now, over a year, a lot of those things I bought, which I probably didn't need to, so you can look through the list and decide. But for me, it feels really weird sitting after 5 weeks behind the wheel and driving it. Obviously it still grows inside as well. I've still got my daughter's car seat in there. But I think, so in terms of what's happened over the year I've had immense amount of fun driving it. I wish I could have driven it more. If I didn't have a baby, I could have driven it loads more. So my little, ooh, brakes noisy. So if my 1-year-old was a little bit older, if she was 4 or 5, then she would have fit perfectly into the back with the seatbelt on. And it would have been great. Or my older girl, who's 5, she fits into the back of the seat. That one, great. And one of them could sit at the front with in a child seat, so that would have been perfectly fine. So I would have done lots more mileage. As it is, I'm kind of stuck on 3,500. So I'm hoping that come the end of the lockdown, I'll be able to drive a lot more. Now on the lockdown, I hope you guys are all keeping safe. I've been going slightly mad because having 2 small children, my wife works full-time, I work full-time, you're trying to parent them, you're trying to do schooling, which, you know, she's 5, so you can't, there's only so much you can do, and you get to the end of the day and you think, well, we'll bounce between conference calls and things like that between me and my wife, and we both sit there at the dining table at 7 o'clock and go, right, we better get our work done now. It's quite depressing, and it feels like it's one of those things where you're not working towards anything, because a date, because you don't know when it's going to end. I mean, I know that we've heard that it's 3 weeks, but I don't think. I'll just go around somebody who's parked in the middle of the road chatting to somebody. Yeah, so it's really frustrating, and it's kind of getting my stress levels really up, and sometimes, you know, it makes me quite emotional, because I'm not really being a really good parent, and I'm not really being a good worker, I'm not delivering value. That's wanky. I'm not giving value for money to my employer, or I don't feel like I am. So that, I mean, there's a whole load of stuff going on with that, and you know, you're not here to listen to that anyway. So in terms of the car, as you know, I bought it, I didn't test drive it, I didn't really know anything about it, in terms of how it drove. You know, anything could have been broken on it. I just knew the air conditioning didn't work, and that the fan belt didn't go around the compressor. So since then, I've had, I got it, I got the air conditioning fixed, which cost, I think, about £350, and since then I've just been driving it. I bought a tyre as well, and it's been brilliant. It really has. It's not in terms of, hey, it's an amazing car, use one every day, but it was more to do with it was a way that I could buy, own, drive a Porsche 911. There's no other way that I could have done it. I couldn't have been able to spend £10,000 or £12,000 on a really good one, stretch that far, and then constantly be thinking, well, what if something goes wrong? What if it breaks and I can't afford to get it fixed? Then I'm stuck without a car, without the ability to get my money back, and without the ability to go and buy another car so I can get around. And this way, the amount of money that I spend means that I still had my other car for practicality. If it wasn't because of the practicality thing, I'd sell my other car. But I've had it as a and the money I spent, I didn't think I'd lose that much. It's kind of the same that I would lose in depreciation if I bought a much newer car, like a practical car, in terms of if this car had just died and I'd have to sell it on eBay, then the amount of money I would have lost, I'm speculating here, but based on a bit of research that I did, that it would be that kind of amount. But also, it's just going out and buying it. I did the research kind of afterwards, if that makes sense. I was on my way to go and see it. I did all the Googling and, you know, hearing about IMS and this and that and whatever, and you just think, well, it's got, if it was 147,000 miles, you think, well, it's made it to that, surely it's going to carry on. So all of that aside, you know, I just took a leap of faith, and I don't know what percentage of times that would go wrong, but then having looked, you know, there's people on eBay on YouTube who have done that, and you know, the Hoovies guys, the classic example, you know, he spent spent $9,500 on one exactly like this, and then built up a whole brand out of it. And so I'm talking quite fast because I've got to do only 10-minute videos for YouTube. But I'm thinking I might start doing longer videos. It depends what the feedback is. I'm not getting many likes or views or anything like that, but I've decided I'm going to do more stuff with the car, just in general, with Instagram, and I want more people to know about it. I want more people to tell me they've done it. And you know, the exciting thing that happens on things like Top Gear, and this Hoovies guy who's recently done it again, but this time he's just gone out and got a convertible, not as desirable, but he bought it for $6,000. Now, if you were to go and there's things that you can do that would mean you're spending less money. I don't know how you could though. They're just not out there now, unless you knew somebody, or unless you knew somebody at a garage who said, one's been traded in, I got $8,000 for it, or $6,000 for it, why don't you just give me that and just take it, sold as seen, you know, no comebacks, no warranty, nothing at all. But you'd have to know somebody really well for them to do that, because garages are still liable these days if they just sold you a car on, they not flipped it, but well, yeah, I guess they got it traded in and just sold it for the same price or cheap to get rid of it. So I would still say that it's worth doing if you're excited by that thing. Most people I know, you know, people I know really well, aren't interested in that kind of thing. A lot of my friends have said, what are you doing? Are you mad? So I'm going to, I don't know, I mean, it's, touch wood, it's worked out for me so far that I've been able to drive it, and I've been able to enjoy it. I mean, properly enjoy it, and just thrash the life out of it. The police car's just gone there, I'll probably get stopped in a second. But I've really been able to enjoy it. And enjoy it in a way that drive down the supermarket, I don't care if it's going to get scratched or anything like that. And well, I do care, but I don't have anxiety about it. And it's, you know, if I had my wife's Golf R, I'd be more worried about getting that scratched, or if something went wrong with it, because it's such a huge amount of money invested in it. Whereas this, it's made for driving hard. It's great fun, and more people should be doing it. So if you've seen any of the videos, you know it's the Carrera early. It's like a 1998. It would have been an S-Reg, and it's got tons of mileage, but it's got tons of service history as well. And it's manual, and you know, hardtop, not convertible, and two-wheel drive. So all of the good things it's got, and it looks shabby on the outside, but I don't really care. I'm going to call it patina. And I've had such great fun. I would highly recommend it to anybody. And on the way home, I'm at the supermarket now, but on the way home I'm going to have to give it a little bit of beans just to enjoy it. But I've really enjoyed the drive here. It's been really good. And yeah, so, you know, if anybody else wants to know, ask me any questions. You can ask me on YouTube, you can ask me on Instagram, and also tell your friends, tell everybody that this is where they can see somebody else fail or succeed. And if anybody's interested and they want to do this kind of thing, great. When the lockdown's over, I'll try and collaborate with this guy Lee, who's also done the same thing, but he said he spent double what I've spent, and then some, to get loads of work done. And he's had a wrap on it, so he had to get that removed, and then he got it resprayed. Then he spent sort of $5,000 getting the suspension done. So I've done none of that. So yeah, let's yeah, so that's my takeaway. Let's do it. More people do it, come on. So I will I'll do more videos, a bit more content, and a bit more about the car, but I think it's come to the point where I will have to think about, maybe get around to washing it. So watch this space.